Welcome to Clash Counseling. Kaila, really appreciate you coming on the podcast today. We're going to be talking about some of the struggles and pain points that we have with wasting a lot of time. So, Kaila, give me a 30-second introduction of you, who you are, and what your background is.
Hi, Jared. Thanks for having me. My name is Kaila Puckett. I work for Oxford Engineering, which is a Chicagoland-based MEP design firm. We do full MEP for pretty much every job all over the U.S. Of varying degrees and scopes. I was first exposed to BIM quite some time ago. I jumped around a little bit, a few different trades to see what I liked, and I ended up at MEP, and it's definitely for me.
Let's get into the story here. So a recent experience that you guys had in receiving files for a project. What was some of the big problems that you guys had with working on this project and what you had received?
Yeah, so the first thing that was very clear to us was this is a client that just bought another subcontractor. They said, this old job. It's in Revit 2022. Let me know if you got everything you need. So first things first, it was a giant zip file, but didn't really say anything as to what it was. I have to look through the models because I don't know which thing's which or what's what.
Sure.
The families are disorganized and all over the place. And we've upgraded most of our standards to 2024.
Were you reutilizing the families from this client then to continue this project?
Yeah, so the intent really wasn't to completely reuse all of these things because you just don't know what's all in there. And sometimes it takes more time to fix somebody else's family than it does to just start from scratch. Luckily, this was mainly a mechanical scope, so that kind of helps a little bit when it comes to the amount of work for the project, right? I had to reset up all our MEP settings, but I already knew I was going to have to do that. It's helpful to have all of it because then I can reference what is this family doing or what was this intended purpose. So kind of ended up creating new ones, but I had to use what was available to me to go back and forth. So we decided to not upgrade everything and do the best we could with what we had.
What did you have to do to change it to your standards, and how can we get that to work for you instead of against you?
We didn't show things nearly the same as this mechanical contractor. I used mainly a filter for it. I created a new template file that helped a lot with all of those things. But like I said, we really tried not to use exact stuff of theirs. This contractor had already started making changes, so I still kind of had to redo it. Someone went back to do revisions, and that's when it stopped. So we didn't really even have a PDF set of everything.
So it sounds like it kind of was like the wild, wild west, where
Yeah,
it was
a little
just
bit.
somebody was doing whatever, and then you guys got it and you had to try and make sense of it.
So it was taking the scope, what we needed to do, looking at what we had, and then adjusting and continuing, trying to figure out where they left off and finishing the rest of the mechanical scope. But you know how that goes. Electrical and plumbing are kind of involved in that. So I would not be shocked if we are asked to continue.
Sure.
Got it.
You guys got the files. Nobody really knew what it was. Tell me, was it a communication breakdown? How did this come to be?
Yeah. At first, it was a conversation before anybody agreed to take on the project, before anybody signed anything or did anything. Like I said, another contractor had bought this contractor out, so it didn't even sound like they really knew anything or knew too much about the project. It was fresh eyes on this.
Okay.
So they came to us and they actually asked, if we give you this, are you able to do it? So we had that conversation where we're going to have to make a lot of things and it might take a little bit more time. We did a nice little review. I told them it would take me some time to open files and also how much of it can we purge. I like a challenge and I said, it's possible, I can do it as long as you know on the forefront. It might take a little bit more time. We might have to create some stuff and figure some things out on the fly, but I'm willing to do it if you are. And that's kind of where we landed with it.
Did you have a couple of meetings that you were able to distill down who's in charge of what and how it's working? Or was it more of a, you figure it out and then we'll deal with it later?
I would say a combination, to be completely honest. Like I said, when they sent everything over, they were like, this is it. This is the job. Let us know if it's yes or no. There really wasn't a conversation about what work had already been done. The PDF set that was supposed to be the most current, it wasn't matching up. It wasn't the same. They continued to make revisions. They continued to try and finish this job, but that's when everything halted, which then was leading back to us having to just kind of figure it out. We just had to make sure exactly what it is that scope was, because it was very hard to track it given the number of files and things not being up to date. So we had to just come back to them and said, all right, what are the items you need from us? And can we scratch things if we need to scratch things? And finding out that was a yes pretty much was super helpful because we were able to just take our approach still.
Was this a new project, an addition, a renovation?
It's a new project. I can say that it is a large apartment complex in Chicago. Something with the job got halted, and then, with the company being bought up, and things were on hold for a little while there. So the other thing is they're like, we need to finish. We need
Yeah,
to
right.
finish.
Hey, we got funding now. Let's go. Let's make it happen.
All right, we gave it to you. Now, when can we get it back?
Yeah. Can we get it back Friday?
Don't get me started on Friday deadlines. My least favorite.
Knowing what you know now, what would you be able to do to make this process better for yourself and for any of our listeners out there if they come across the issues that you had on this project?
Well, I wish I would have pushed back on the client a little bit more to try to make sense of these files themselves as well before just sending one giant mass folder of stuff. And so a little bit more collaboration on the front end would have definitely helped, because at first I'm looking at everything and I'm like, well, it's probably possible, but still didn't fully understand like what we were being asked to do.
Yeah, we can use them, but what's the ultimate end goal?
But yeah, exactly. Finding out where it kind of got to the point where it's like, hey, we're going to do this. I was asking the question and getting the feedback right away, even if it feels like a stupid question. The collaboration on the forefront kind of wasn't there. It was kind of thrown to the wolves, have at it. And then also, those team didn't really exist for coordination anymore. So it just ended up being a lot of, like, as soon as we found something, call them, send it an email with our direct client.
You ended up pretty much just starting completely from scratch and redesigning and re-engineering this.
Yeah, we could use it, but getting into it, we didn't even know that somebody had started doing revisions. So we didn't really even have a permit set or anything that gave us a hint about the final product. You might have a lot of questions. Unless you have someone that's like crazy like me and is willing to sit there and figure it out, regardless of how many headaches, I'd say don't take it on.
Right.
I know that sounds kind of bad, but you make a smart business decision, because we did have a choice, right? We could have looked back at them and been like, no, it's going to be way too much for us. I liked the challenge. And once you do all that kind of stuff in a different version of Revit, like learning how to make template files, learning how to create families that work well and efficiently, not break on you all the time. If I didn't have that base knowledge, I don't think it would have gone as well as it did for me.
So what would be your mic drop moment? This is how I make a difference in my day-to-day, and this is what I live up to every day.
Okay, so I'll give my boss a little bit of a credit for this one, but I say it all the time now. Nerds are okay, but no jerks. So nerds, geeks, dorks, totally fine. We'd rather work with that any day than somebody who's just mean or not nice or rude. So nerds are okay, no jerks.
I like it. Knowing that you're talking to a human being. Like if you wouldn't say this to your brother and your wife, don't bring that to the table. Like we want to work with people that we have a good fit with.
Exactly. Coming in with a good attitude, or even just not a crappy attitude, can go a long way, I think. We all get stressed. We all get tense. Some of us sit behind a computer all day. We don't even talk to another soul. We're sending emails most time. But remember, we are all people, and most people are way more likely to work with you and communicate when you're just not being rude at them all the time.
Last words. What's the BIM, Revit, VDC plugin that you cannot live without?
Well, mine is Dynamo. I use Dynamo a shockingly amount, actually. I think that if you have the time, you should learn it, because as soon as you learn it, you realize its potential. You realize how many things it can actually automate for you. And one of the biggest ones is like data extraction using Excel and data input. And I mean that in like it for anything, even MEP, it works very well when we've got like a big change we got to push to across like a ton of fixtures. And I use it for code stuff, ventilation schedules for something specific for HVAC people. We have all of the code requirements already programmed in an Excel sheet, and I can just push them in, and then we kind of helps us autofill everything for us. So that's my two examples, but Dynamo.
All right. And when you're going into a coordination meeting and it's Kaila Puckett's coming in, what would be your walk-up music?
Easy. Crazy Train by Ozzy.
Crazy Train. All right. The late, great Ozzy. Oh, that's beautiful.
Yep.
That's beautiful.
And I've had someone tell me before that would be my walk-up song. So I can say that with confidence.
Excellent. So not only is it your walk-up song, but somebody else is like, this is Kayla's walk-up song.
Yeah.
Well, Kaila, really appreciate you taking the time here to come on to Clash Counseling. Kaila with Oxford Engineering. Really appreciate you coming on to the show here today, and best of luck in the future.
Well, thanks so much for having me. It's always good to chat.